single just now.
Oh no! Son of a bitch.
You get your two?
Yeah.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thotgor here, of course, and today we are going to take a look at a battle in the Mogami on Islands of Ice. Yes. So, I don't really enjoy this map at all, no. Islands of Ice is, it's one of the original maps, right? Way back when, before the game was even released. This was a map that was played on, what was that? During the closed alpha weekend, yes, in January of last year. Whew, time flies. Anyway, never been a fan of this map. I don't know, I just don't enjoy it. You can tell there as well by the mini-map that this was before the latest patch that this battle was recorded. Now the Mogami itself, I do enjoy the Mogami. As you may know, the Mogami was my favorite tier 8 cruiser for quite some time, especially when they first introduced ranked battles. I fucking love this Mogami. It was amazing, right up until they brought out the German cruiser line, and then quickly the Admiral Hipper became my favorite ship, and I suddenly found myself not playing the Mogami as much, because it just wasn't as fun, I guess. My biggest gripe about the Mogami is her range. There's the range of the main guns. It really, really hampers you in this ship. I mean, the Mogami at tier 8 is a great cruiser. The firepower of this cruiser is pretty phenomenal, not to mention the fact that she has some great torpedoes on her as well. You can do a whole lot of damage with those torpedoes, but it's a long cruiser, and she's fairly flat on the sides, really susceptible to taking broadsides and getting citadeled and just getting destroyed, so you really need to pay attention to that when you are in this ship. Now, you can see, on this map, like I say, I don't really like this map. I never go down there to sea new. Not unless I spawn down there with some division mates, and maybe if I'm in a destroyer, I might go down there intentionally, but other than that, no, I'm not going down there. That is not going to happen. My plan in this battle is to get myself into a position where I can fire in on B, because I know that at B there are going to be enemy destroyers and enemy ships, so I want to get myself into a position where I can fire in on B, start engaging the enemy there, but also keeping some sort of cover between myself and the enemies, right? Now you can see here as well that most of my team does actually decide to go down there to C, so I was not not impressed with this. My whole strategy of keeping cover between myself and the enemies is kind of going out the window at this point in time, because you can see I'm basically sailing an open sea towards the sea cap zone. Wasn't happy with it, but whatever. If we talked about before too, if that's where the team is going, and if that is where they're going to be focused, I am going to follow the team, and I am going to go down there and help out the team in that in that zone. Even if I don't like the place, I don't really want to go there, I'm still going to go with the team, and I'm still going to support the team. Now that being said, I'm kind of looking around here, getting myself into a position where I can support B, and I can also support C. My main focus is B, because there's a lot of ally ships down there at C, so I'm not necessarily needed down there as of yet. Whereas at B, you can see that I do have a friendly destroyer in B, starting to cap the zone, but it's just not working out as well as I would like for my friendly destroyer, obviously because, enemy ships are in there, and he's contesting the zone right now, but not actually capping the zone, so yeah, whatever though. My team, you can see, is capping C right now, so that's good, as long as we can take one cap zone. Ideally too on this map, I usually find that taking the A cap zone up there to the north is usually the critical point on this map, and the reason why it usually becomes that is because most players and most teams will focus B and C. Usually A is just so out of the way that it doesn't make sense to go up there and cap it, and that's one of my gripes again about this map. Not only do I not like the C zone, I don't like the A zone. I don't like how it's so far away. Although, to counter that point, it's probably done, or Wargaming probably did this strategically, right, to just add an extra level of depth to this map itself. Are you going to take the chance and go up there at A? Are you fast enough to get up there at A, take the point, and then come back down and maybe support your team at B? Are you able to do that or not, right? So there's that. Now I do have an enemy Iowa off in the distance, so I'm going to start engaging this guy immediately with my high explosive rounds. You can see that the Iowa is engaging some of my other allied ships there down at sea, so I'm not too worried about any incoming fire. We're passing an Mogami there as well. Damn, that Mogami looks sexy, but anyway, shots continue to go in on the Iowa. I'm not getting very lucky with my shots at all. They're missing and they're not setting fires. I really needed and wanted them to set fires, but whatever. Not going to bother with this. And I'm not going to worry too much about it, right? Because I am pretty much at the limit of my range at this point in time. Well, not really, but I'm fairly close to the range limit there. And again, I want to just be aware of the other enemy ships in and around this Iowa, right? Even though the Iowa isn't shooting at me, the Iowa definitely knows that I'm here, and so does the Iowa's allies, so I have to be prepared for the fact that some enemy ships may actually start firing at me, and then I'm going to have to start doing some evasive maneuvers. And in fact, there we go, I just took some hits from another enemy Mogami out there as well. So we're going to try and get behind some cover here. You can see I'm moving in behind the island now as well, lining up and just taking a look at some of the other ships off in the distance to see what I've got around. And we do see some enemy ships and some ally ships as well that I have in and around here at B. And again, considering that my team now has C, right, it was being contested there, but my allies took care of that enemy ship. But we now have C, so I'm not going to continue and try and focus back over at C. I am going to stay here at B and try and do something about these enemy ships. So we do see an enemy Mogami off in the distance. I'm going to try and do something about this guy. I do land a few shots on him, but didn't do, or one shot on him, but didn't do any damage at all. We do see an enemy ship who is coming into B, well, not coming into B, but making moves on B there as well. And yeah, so we're just going to keep focusing on the enemy cruiser here once he comes out from cover. There we go, so we'll fire off some shots. We have the armor piercing loaded because that Mogami is giving me a nice broadside, so hopefully if I can just get a few salvos into him, we might be able to do some significant damage there. 5100 damage isn't too bad, but no Citadel. Oh well, 5100 damage, I will take it. Cruising around the island here, because you can see that I do have one of my ally ships in B now, capping it, so that's fantastic. So I'm going to cruise around here. I'm going to come up with my ally battleship we see up here, who is coming under some heavy torpedo attack, right? Yeah. So we're going to try and get in here and do something and help this guy out here. Hopefully this will go well, but always keeping in mind, if it doesn't go well or if it all goes south, I need to get out of here as quick as possible, because I don't want to become the next victim of these enemy ships here. So we do see an enemy cruiser who's grounded himself up against an island there, and I really wanted to take out this Pensacola, but yeah, it just wasn't working out well for me, right? I've got a number of other targets that I need to be focused on, specifically the destroyers that are in and around here. We need to be aware of these guys, and maybe not just spend all of my time trying to take out the Pensacola, who isn't even giving me a nice broadside, right? So there we go. We're going to launch we're going to fire our guns off at the enemy destroyer over there. I've got the high explosive loaded, so hopefully we'll do a bit of damage, and there we go. We did a bit of damage there to that destroyer. Mostly took out the engine, and the destroyer had to use his repair party. So now we know that if we do set fire like we did just there, that fire is going to burn up until the point where the repair party is, or the repair ability is back off cooldown, right? So that's pretty good. So we'll do a bit of damage over time there to this enemy destroyer, which is fantastic. And plus, you can see the enemy destroyer is making some moves in towards B. At this point in time, my team has now capped B, which is fantastic. Good job. We really needed to take that point. But we are going to, circle back in and around B. I'm not going to make moves towards A because we don't need A at this point in time. A isn't important right now, so I'm not going to, basically take myself into the battle, go up there, cap A, and then come back down in. No, I'm just going to circle myself around, and we're going to try and get closer back over to B, right, just to fend off any enemies who might be trying to get into B. So there we go. I did finally manage to set a fire to the Pensacola, but the Pensacola is still alive, and I'm on fire as well. I'm taking shots from the Pensacola itself and from the Mogami that's still back there that we were firing at earlier. So I need to keep this in mind. And luckily I get to move in and behind some cover, shelter me from the Pensacola for a little while anyway, but I do still need to be aware of the Mogami off in the distance, right? That Mogami could still reach out and touch me. And in fact, here comes the shells, and luckily I'm able to avoid all of those, most likely because of the turn I did, and the Mogami captain didn't probably fired the shots before I started the turn or whatever. Anyway, more shots come in and we take a bit more damage there. That kind of sucked, but I'm still a little over half health, so we still have a chance here. You can see my friendly destroyer out in front of me, popping smoke and lining up torpedoes on the Pensacola, so this is fantastic. Pensacola sees what's going on though, and it immediately starts to turn to try and avoid these torpedoes, right? So I'm going to start lining up the Pensacola. I do have armor piercing loaded, so if the Pensacola just turns into my salvo like he is now, there we go. Fantastic. Pensacola is gone. Excellent. Now, we are back in the B point. You can see the majority of the enemy ships that are remaining are kind of hovering in and around A, and then in and around C as well. This is another reason why I'm not such a fan of this map. And again, I don't necessarily blame Wargaming for this. You know, where the points are so spread out, especially B and C, I find that a lot of times the allies who go down there to C and who take C then start to fight their own little private war down there in the south of the map without ever actually coming back up to support the B or A zone if they're needed, right? And it just kind of ekes me a little. But to Wargaming's credit, I mean, maybe that's how they designed the map, right? Because it would take a certain level of teamwork and a certain level of awareness by the players in this who are playing in this game on this map to realize, you know, maybe I shouldn't be chasing down these enemies. Maybe we should be going and helping out the cap. I mean, this isn't probably a good example of that, right? Because we're kicking ass right now. Even if those people down there in the south decided to come up here and help out B, it wouldn't matter. I mean, you can take a look here at B. We don't have much opposition, if any at all. I mean, we do know of the Mogami that is still around, right? There's still one enemy destroyer as well, but we know that the enemy destroyer is down there at the south, so yeah, it doesn't really matter. I mean, there's the Mogami once again, so we're going to try and take this ship down. And at this point in time in the battle as well, where the enemy only has 4 ships remaining, you know, this is an excellent time to get a little more aggressive. You still want to play cautiously, obviously, and keep that in mind, and keep your hit point conservation in mind as well. There's the enemy destroyer that I thought I didn't have to worry about. Turns out I did, and I take 2 torpedoes right to the bow, and that almost killed me. You can see hit point conservation, right? That is an excellent example of what it can do for you. The Lu Liang off in the distance, right? We're going to start engaging the Lu Yang, but if I hadn't had that much, you know, that much health remaining from the beginning of the battle, doing maneuvers, getting in behind cover, those 2 torpedoes would have just killed me and I'd be gone. My team probably still would have won, but I would not have survived and been able to you know, gain more points and more experience out of this. Not that I need the points or experience on the ship itself, but I do definitely want the credits out of the battle as well, right? So we are engaging the Lu Yang here. You can see the Lu Yang is almost dead. We just need to get a few more shots in. There we go. Lu Yang is gone. There's only 3 enemy ships remaining now, so fantastic. This should all be but over, and we should be able to get a victory. We do have the enemy aircraft carrier left. Right over on this side. We still have the enemy Mogami. You can see the enemy Mogami made the choice to go up there and to cap the A zone along with the other remaining enemy. And you can see what that has got them by deciding to go up there and take the A zone so late in the battle without contesting any of the other points, or trying to continue to contest the other points. It really doesn't matter that they're taking that point. It's not going to save them. It's just not going to amount to anything. And I mean, I know I talked about how much I didn't like this map, but there is that nice aspect to it, right? This map really punishes you for making poor team decisions like those 2 enemy ships did. Anyway, battle is over. We didn't do too bad. 4,900 experience. We managed 2 kills. You can see that this was before I got my little flag there for the May Marathon Majigger. So that's not too bad. Second overall in the team. I think it was a little over 40,000 damage done, which isn't shabby. I mean, definitely the Mogami is capable of more, but again, bringing it back to the range of the Mogami, it's I find it you know, a lot harder to get the big damage numbers in this ship now, considering the limited range that we have in the 203s, you know, versus the old 155 range when advanced firing training was different, we'll say. Anyway, that is today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Maybe take a little something out of it about just being aware of your team, the team maneuvers, what you should and shouldn't be doing to help support your team, especially on some crappier maps. Maybe you enjoy Islands of Ice. I don't know. I know I don't, but just because I don't doesn't mean that you guys don't enjoy it either. There might be some people out there who do enjoy it. And like I say, it's an interesting map. It has some interesting aspects to it. Anyway, leave any comments you have for me in the video comment section below. Love reading those. Hit the old like button if you did like today's video. Hit subscribe if you're not a subscriber. And as always, I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day.